What's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Monday fun day, August the 4th. August the 4th. Over halfway there now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to talk about these, as I normally say, these radical leftist lunatic liberals. Well, not how I say it. It's President Trump. He coined the term for them. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you would, please help me by sharing this video, get the video out, share this video. Texas is on fire. I mean, really. Now, let me bring something to your attention. Here in the state of Texas, I've always heard, and I see this ride around on these trucks and vehicles everywhere. Don't tread on me. Like Texas, don't mess with Texas, right? You hear this all the time. Meaning, for me, is that the people in Texas, they're willing to stand up. Uh-oh. It's my niece. Drop my mouse. They're willing to stand up. The people in Texas are willing to stand and fight. Except for the Democrats. The Democrats tucked their tail and ran. Bunch of cowards. I mean, straight up, bunch of cowards. The people in Texas did not vote them in for them to run when things get tough. Really? Is this how things are supposed to be? Oh, I don't like this. This is too tough for me. So we're going to have to run. This is exactly what the Democrats are doing. And you know what the interesting thing is? The last time they did this, they ran to D.C. They skedaddled to D.C. And this time, they didn't run to D.C. You know where they ran to? They ran to Chicago. Chirac. They ran to Chicago because the Illinois idiot governor decided to say, okay, yeah, come here. We'll welcome you. We'll engage in this fight. Because, see, this is what a lot of people don't recognize, is that this country is at war. It's like a soft war for the most part, until when the Democrats get extremely violent. But for the most part, it's a soft war. And the Democrats are doing these tactics to try to fight against the American people. And they're saying they're fighting against President Trump, but ultimately what it comes down to is that they're fighting against the American people. Because as I mentioned multiple times before, the Democrats, they're not doing anything to help the American people. There's not a single thing that the Democrats have done. And I encourage you, put them in the comments for me. I encourage you to. There's not a single thing that the Democrats have done that the American people have benefited from. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Straight up zero. But nonetheless, the Democrats think that they can flee the state of Texas, get out of Dodge, run from their responsibilities, run from what they were elected to do, which make them a bunch of cowards. Straight up bunch of cowards. Don't you think this is the time for you to sit here and fight for your constituents? Nope, they're not doing it. And see, they're upset because President Trump and the Republicans only did what the Democrats have done in the past. They're doing a redistricting of the counties in the state of Texas. And then, of course, you have Gruesome Newsom. He's mad about it, too, because all of the Democrats, they're sticking together, trying to fight this. They're all sticking together. They're all jumping in there. So he's trying to do the same thing in the state of California. Well, apparently in the state of California, it is unlawful for them to do it in California. But have you ever known Democrats that ever care about the law? I mean, really? Have they ever cared about the law? Now, they'll utilize the law as a weapon against the American people, but when it actually comes to utilizing the law, doing the right thing, the Democrats don't care. They really don't. Well, let me give you an example of the Democrats coming together complaining about what's happening in the state of Texas. And some of these Democrats have nothing to do with the state of Texas. So they're coming out from all around the country because, see, this is 5 seats. This is 5 seats that the Democrats can lose, which will ultimately give the Republicans the great majority. And they don't want that. Because, again, their only goal is to stop Trump. They can care about anything else. They don't care about you. It's all about stopping Trump and retaining their power.
We're not here because this is easy, and we did not make the decision to come here today, we did not make that decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas. For the last few weeks, Texas families have been burying their loved ones who were killed in the very preventable tragedy that occurred in Central Texas. Over 100 Texans died, many of them very young souls. And all Texans across the state have asked for is that the legislature focus and spend its time taking care of the families who are grieving and helping the communities who are recovering to accomplish their goals. Instead, Governor Abbott has used this tragedy, taken these families who are grieving, taken these communities who are struggling to recover, and used them as hostages in a political game. It's been 2 weeks. They don't even have a bill filed to deal with what they promised to deal with. And instead, they have spent their entire time playing dirty political games that only help themselves. And what is even worse, their attempts to do this, their attempts to disenfranchise Texans, the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hardworking communities who have spent decades.
Let me ask y'all a question. What does the racial element come in all of this? I mean, really, I live in the state of Texas, and I've been here over 6 years now. And every time elections have come up, there's not been a single time, me as a black man in America, where I've gone to the polls and they said, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, or they've never said, I'm sorry, boy, but you cannot vote because you're black. They've never done that. So where's this racial element coming from? There is no racial element in this state. There is no racial element. Now, the Democrats, they would love for us to believe that there is one. And now they're going to draw these lines and say, oh, here's more racists. They're drawing the lines based on the color, based on the people. Well, every single time in the past when they've done this, they've done it based on the census report. They get the census report and they look at it and they say, oh, okay, now I can see what's happening here. We got X amount of people, X, Y, Z. We can redraw the maps. That's the way it's been happening all of this time. But in this case, the Democrats are interjecting racism. There is no racist issue here other than the Democrats. The Democrat Party has always been the party, as I've said this so many times, they've always been the party of racism. It's only been the Democrat Party. Only the Democrat Party ever owned slaves in this country. Only the Democrat Party. The Republican Party never has. And no, there's never been a switch. That switch that a lot of people believe, it's a lie. Did you hear me? The switch that they're trying to convince everybody that took place, it is a blatant lie. They're lying to people just like they're lying right now. The Democrat Party, the truth is not in them. They believe that lying to get what they want is perfectly fine.
And you know what, Will, from what I read, I was reading on this, is that a lot of the redistricting is actually including a lot of Hispanic voters in the Republican voting areas, the redistricting. So he's absolutely wrong. Do you know that in Texas, in the 2024 election, 55% of the Hispanics that voted for Donald Trump?
55%.
55%.
More than half.
Yes. And they don't like it. Only 40% voted for Democrats.
Of course. Listen to the rest of this.
Building up their power and strengthening their voices. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump, so that Donald Trump could steal these communities' power
Oh my
and
goodness.
voice.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if President Trump is actually stealing these communities, why are you running? Why are you running? Let me give you another example here. See, we live in the United States of America, and right now in the state of New York, they're trying to bring in a socialist communist mayor. Now, if they take over, the communists take over, where do we get to run to? There's nowhere for us to run to. God-fearing, Bible-believing, hardcore MAGA extremists, Republicans, whatever you want to call it. There's nowhere for us to run. But these liberals, these Democrats, they fled from the state of Texas. I'm sick of it. Governor Abbott, Attorney General Ken Paxton, there has to be something that they can do for these people fleeing. Now, it's one thing if they were leaving because they had a family member that has an issue, or just some kind of they had a medical procedure that they had, whatever it is, and they had to leave the state. Okay, we get that one. But all of them are leaving and not doing their jobs. They're leaving for the purpose of not doing their jobs. They're running like a bunch of cowards. The cowards that they are.
Well, I mean, Abbott is trying to do something.
I know Abbott is.
Abbott.
But what about these Democrats? Why are they running like a bunch of cowards?
Well, they're doing it, one, to make a point. It's just they're grandstanding, essentially. They're literally, you know what, Will? They're out of money. So they are campaigning off of this. They're trying to get money to say, oh, we're fighting for you. Look at us. We have to put ourselves in a position where we're fleeing our state. I mean, it's all for show.
That's cowards.
They are cowards. And you know what? When he sits there and says, oh, they're doing the work of Trump, Democrats do the same thing. They work for the president. They work for the duly elected person that was voted by the majority of Americans. They do the same thing when they're in office. But they want it to look like Trump is this authoritarian type person doing this.
Yeah.
He's just like every other president before, doing the work. Democrats are not excluded from trying to redistrict for their benefit. Come on now. This isn't anything new.
No, it's not.
We will not be complicit in the destruction of our own communities. We will not be complicit in the destruction of any communities in Texas. We will hold people accountable, and we will defend our state to the absolute best of our abilities. We're not here to play political games. We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process.
That's exactly what President Trump is doing.
It's actually not a corrupt process.
President Trump is bringing their corrupt process to an end. That's what they're upset about. But what's the redistricting that's happening in the state of Texas, there's nothing corrupt about it. It's lawful. It's completely fine for them to do it, right? That's the reason why they're fleeing. They're running from their obligations. The people in the state of Texas voted them in to fight for them. Why would you vote for somebody that's going to flee when things get tough? I don't understand it. And you got all these radical liberals out there right now. They're all out there doing these little campaign videos trying to say, well, we're fleeing because we're strong. You're doing a coward move. How are you strong? I really want to know the answer to that. No one is, you know what? And I have yet to see them on the mainstream media, any of them call them out and say, look, you're running from your job. Why aren't you stay in? Are you strong or not? If you're strong, then why don't you stay and fight? Fight for your constituents. But they're not doing that because they know the people in this state voted for this change that they're trying to fight for, or against rather.
This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab.
You hearing this? I mean, this reminds me of like when you have like news reporters or whistleblowers, and if you're seeing this message, if you're hearing this, she doesn't have to reside in that district to represent it here in the state of Texas. So she would still be able to keep her seat. The problem is for her is that the people that voted for her before, they're pretty much not all there. They're not dealing with a full deck. Now she's going to have to try to campaign to people that are dealing with a full deck. And that's what she's not happy with. That's what she's not happy with. Well, of course, Democrats all across the country are getting involved in this. You even have Hakeem Jeffries coming out of his hole talking about this. Can you split screen it for me? Watch this.
We have to make clear to the people of Texas what's taking place, because it's unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And as elected officials, we have that responsibility. That's not something we can just brush aside. There are 50 states in America. I'm here in Texas for a reason, because these legislators are standing up. These members of Congress are standing up and communicating to the people of Texas what's occurring right now in the middle of the summer at a special session. And we will make clear that we're going to do everything possible to support the Texas legislators as they consider the best ways to push back. It's an all hands on deck moment, and all options should be on the table to protect the people of Texas. But Texas Democrats are going to be the ones to decide that. We will fight them politically. We will fight them governmentally. We will fight them in court. We will fight them in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the people of Texas and beyond. The Texas Democrats are going to show up and stand up and speak up for what's right for the people of Texas.
Wait a minute. He just said the let me play it again. Y'all listen to this. Listen.
We will fight them in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the people of Texas. And
don't you have to do the will of the people of Texas? Don't you have to fight for them instead of fighting against them? Because that's exactly what they're doing here. But listen to this.
Beyond, the Texas Democrats are going to show up and stand up and speak up.
Where they show? They went to Chicago. They're not even in the state of Texas any longer. They fled the state like a bunch of cowards. They are. Every last one of them, a bunch of cowards.
For what's right for the people of Texas.
Bring it back.
And they're showing courage and conviction and character in doing that.
You know, their character shows that they're cowards.
And we'll see what happens over the next few days, over the next few weeks. But the one thing I know is clear, that Texas Democrats are fighting for the people.
But yet they fled Texas. So who are they fighting for? I know, they're fighting for the people in Illinois. That's who they're fighting for. Now, I see there's apparently there's some like issues going on right now with the feed. We're live on YouTube. YouTube seems to be fine. I haven't seen any issues there.
YouTube says,
actually, somebody said it was buffering there, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, somebody said that there was a problem on YouTube too. So we were losing internet here on and off. So I'm not sure if that did something to the feed or what. But
yeah, I don't know. But if you just hit refresh, and maybe we should put that in the comments too. Just hit refresh and it comes back. It's back up now. You put it in the comments, Shannon? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is. It's Monday Fun Day. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not one thing, it's always another. All right, let me go to another one I want to share about all of this, because when the Democrats see that President Trump this time around, he's not playing around with them. President Trump is he's not doing the same games. He's not allowing them to get away with it. And President Trump is hitting them where it hurts. He's hitting them in the pocketbook. As I mentioned earlier, I saw a report where the Democrats are all complaining because their funding for the 2026 campaigning is down. And there's some are saying it's at an all-time low. And the reason being is because of all of these government entities that they were getting all this money from dried up on them. The donkey cash, the cash donkey, you say cash cow, but in this case, the cash donkey has dried up. There's no more federal funding. So put it this way. They take our tax dollars, no matter who you are, Republican, conservative, independent, doesn't matter. And then it goes to the federal government. Then the federal government, the Democrats have worked it to where a lot of this money, millions and millions, if not billions of dollars, would go over to USAID and all these other programs, Planned Parenthood included. And what was happening is that they were funneling the money to the DNC, to the Democrats. This is what's being allegedly reported, right? You have to say allegedly. But now, isn't it interesting that all of that's been dried up, all that's been cut off, all this money going out, and now the Democrats the DNC itself is having to go hit credit. The Democrat candidates saying that they're not getting the fundraising that they used to get because the money is not being funneled through Act Blue. Remember, you've heard of Act Blue, right? Project Veritas opened the can on that one. So what was happening is that they were funneling money to Act Blue. Then Act Blue was acting like they were individual people throughout the country, and then they were donating to different campaigns. Money laundering on the scale that we've never seen, my opinion. But all that's been dried up. And see, the Democrats, they're like on their last leg, right? They're on the edge right now, and they're piping mad about it all. Here's some more about this. I want y'all to listen to this. This was on Meet the Press. And of course, the woman that's here, she's I consider her to be a communist, right? She might communist, socialist, communist. She hates this country based on what she's done and what she said. She's willing to fight and destroy this country. I mean, just listen to the way she talked. And President Trump, he was giving her some nice tit point kudos, what have you. He said, you could be a really awesome reporter, but you're nasty, basically.
Congressional maps, obviously, in focus. They are usually redrawn every decade, but in Texas, as you referenced, Republicans there rolled out a new map that could actually add up to 5 GOP seats. You now have Governor Gavin Newsom promising that California would respond with a new map that would boost Democratic seats in that state. Let me ask you, Senator, do you believe it's hypocritical for Democrats to deploy the same strategy that they're criticizing by Republicans in Texas?
Well, first of all, let's understand why Donald Trump is asking for 5 more Republican seats out of Texas. It's because his policies, especially his economic policies, have been so bad, right? The prior guest referenced the big, beautiful bill. Wait till people start losing their health care and their health care costs go up.
You know, when they always bring that up, wait until people start losing their health care. You know who they were talking about? They always leave that information out. And I'm always saying that the Democrats leave out key details. They're constantly saying it. You know the information that they're leaving out? That they're illegals. That's who they're leaving out. They leave out that part, that key detail. So they just do this blanket thing saying that the American people are going to lose their health care. And if let's just say there are some American citizens that have, abused the system, they should lose it because those that are working, those are willing to put in, having to pay for them needs to come to an end. And they go, you're not paying for them. When they take your tax dollars and they pay for those people that's not willing to do anything and just sit on the couch every day, and these Democrats use that so they can get their votes, we are paying for it. 100%. And they know this, but they do a play on words.
Right? That if Republicans on their policy agenda, they'd be eager to defend it with the people and to defend at the ballot box next November, but they know they're in trouble. And so they're trying to rig the system to hold on to power next November. That's what this redistricting move is really about.
You know, powerful language that you're using, rig the system. I mean, some in your party warned that going down this path could actually erode trust in the system. Here,
erode trust in the system. Going down this path, erode trust in the system. Is there anybody that trusts the Democrats right now? Shannon, has there ever been any Democrats that you trusted? Now, I thought, because I used to be a Democrat, God healed my mind, thank God. But I used to think that there were, these people on Capitol Hill, regardless of what they were, Democrats or Republican, I thought they were always looking at the best interests of the American people.
You want me to be honest?
I'm going to be honest.
I actually believed that Obama could be trusted, and that's mostly because of you. You convinced me that he was going to be good for the country.
Wait. I apologize.
So the first time I ended up voting for Obama. The second time I did not end up voting for Obama. But, that was also naive in politics. Well, I just actually looked up some statistics I just want to share with you real quick. Traditionally, some of the areas that don't have great voter turnout happen to be Democrat jurisdictions. And that's, places where there's low income, there's real heavy minorities, that kind of thing. It's interesting that the Democrats want to do redistricting in California. I'm wondering how they would do that, how that would even work for them. Because in California, it's either really heavy Democrat or really strong Republican, right? There's not a whole lot of places. And California, if you look at this last election, there was stronghold Democrat areas that turned Republican. So I'm not even sure redistricting in California would help them unless they change their ways. Listen, Gavin Newsom has turned off so many Democrats in California. A lot of them have fled, but a lot of them are standing there trying to fight for the country or for the state. I truly believe that redistricting wouldn't help them. It wouldn't.
In California?
Yeah, I don't think it would even help them.
Well,
but they're just doing it because basically what they're saying is we're gonna lose 5 seats in Texas, so we need to pick up 5 seats in California. They're playing a game, honestly.
Yeah,
what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to fight against Texas. But I've seen videos where Republicans on there saying that what they're doing is unlawful in the state of California.
That's true too.
In the state of California, because they're gonna try, right? Just kind of like they tried to do the whole Russia collusion delusion. It was a total lie, but they still tried it because they thought they were going to get away with it. They said we have to try to do something, and they went to the extreme measure. Just like this dude here, Eric Holder. Eric Holder, this dude here is another snake, straight up snake, lies, and lies. He's getting involved when it comes to Texas. When the changing the districts is an issue for them, I had no idea that Texas could do this, and that 5 seats could go to the Republicans. I mean, really? Let me put it this way. See, now, Shannon, you can help me out here. When they do the redistricting, the people still get to vote in those districts, correct?
Oh, yeah. It just changes the lines.
Okay, so it changes the lines. But the Democrats would like for us to believe that all of the people want them and will vote for them. So what is the problem here? You get my question? You get my question?
So are you saying, no.
I'm going to say it again. They're just redrawing the lines. But according to the Democrats, everybody supports the Democrats. So if they redraw these lines, then what's the problem? Because if everybody still supports the Democrats, that means they're still going to get all the votes from the Democrats. If that's
right.
If that's the case.
Right.
So why are they kicking and screaming about it? Because they know people that have a sound mind don't vote Democrat. Correct?
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
you're
that's
right.
and
I
that's
see
where
your
the problem
point.
is. And they can say, oh, wait a minute, these people, they're not believing all the propaganda that we're pushing out on America. They're not buying into it. That's the reason why. Listen to Eric Holder.
We've always had partisan redistricting, thus it ever was, thus it ever will be. How is this different?
Well, simply because this is something that has afflicted the nation for, an extended period of time doesn't mean that it's right. What we're seeing now is an attempt by the White House to insulate itself from any kind of congressional scrutiny, any kind of congressional oversight, to make sure that Donald Trump remains the authoritarian figure that he has become. We have a compliant Congress.
You see, rhetoric like that, authoritarian figure that he has become, rhetoric like that is the reason why you have these idiot, lunatic Democrats right now committing violence in the country. Because of rhetoric like that. President Trump is putting America first. How is that authoritarian? He's not even putting a group of people first. How is that authoritarian? He's doing the opposite of what these Democrats do. These Democrats are the ones that's doing everything authoritarian. They don't want you to even have freedom of speech. The Democrats are 100% for censoring the American people, for blocking us from having a voice. The Democrats are perfectly fine with it. You understand? The Democrats are perfectly fine with censoring people, blocking people, financially hurting people. They're okay with it. And he has the nerve to say that President Trump is an authoritarian.
To make sure that Donald Trump remains the authoritarian figure that he has become. We have a compliant Congress, and he wants to ensure that, given the fact that they passed this bill that is unpopular, that takes health care away from people, that gives tax breaks to billionaires, and it puts at risk the Republican majority, he wants to ensure that he continues to have that compliant Republican House of Representatives. And that, I think, is something that we need to take into account. Our democracy is threatened. Our democracy is really threatened by what the Republicans are proposing to do in Texas right now.
Is there any way to...
I guess it's one thing if you're just constantly lying. And it's another if you want, it's overwhelming actually. Because all they do is lie. I mean, there's nothing else that they do. They lie.
I mean, I think lying is a tradition for the Democrat Party.
But
look at
for them lying is like breathing.
Yeah. I mean, look at the whole Russia, right? Now we know it's totally lies. The laptop, when they tried to protect Hunter, total lie. You can't tell me we don't know where the white stuff in the White House came from. I know that was a lie. The auto pin, who was really signing everything and who's in charge, total lie. I mean, what? Biden was in great health, total lie. I mean, over and over and over, these people lie. And they wonder why we're not buying their crap anymore. They wonder why their poll numbers are going in the opposite direction, because you're just not believable.
Yeah. I mean, no one believes them. I mean, and think about it. If you could constantly lie the way the Democrats are and get people to believe those lies, then why stop? Why stop? They're all a bunch of cowards and they're liars. They're not standing their ground. And all these other Democrats out there, oh my goodness, we're praising them. They're so brave. They're so brave. Good for you. You're standing your ground while you're fleeing. What does stand your ground mean? What does it mean? Why don't you stay in the state of Texas, go to the floor, argue your case? Now, Shannon, I saw another report that they were saying that if they do not show up by 3 o'clock today,
right,
3 o'clock today, that Governor Abbott has the option to remove them from their seats and replace them.
Well, he actually gave some Texas constitutional articles where it could be possible. I believe it, of course, has to be looked at, legislatively if it's possible. But he says basically they vacated their position by not being there. And that's his argument at this point. So he's saying that he's looking at it with lawyers to see if maybe we can remove these people from office. Amen. Wouldn't it be awesome? I don't believe it's going to happen. I think it's just one of those another things like, oh, we're going to do this and nothing happens. But wouldn't it be awesome if we could get rid of all the Democrats?
It would be
by way of them abandoning their post.
It would be so amazing. Yes, it would be. So if Abbott is for real and he is going to list their seats as vacated, I think that's what they call it, right? Vacate.
Right. Well, they abandoned it, so they vacated it.
Yeah, they abandoned their position. Right? It's almost like this. It's like we're all on a boat. And the boat just happened to have a hole in it. But if we all work together, we can actually patch the hole up in the boat and get everyone to safety. Instead of that, the Democrats they see little small boats and it's like, you know what? I'm out of here. Screw y'all. I'm jumping ship. The Democrats, instead of staying to fight, or let's just say we're being invaded by aliens from outer space. And instead of the Democrats standing their ground and fighting with the rest of us, humanity, they're fleeing. That's exactly what they're doing. In this case, the job is too tough. It's too tough for us to, this the Democrats. But what's happening in Texas it's too tough of a job for us right now. So we have to leave. Because we can't sit here and do this job because it's just too tough. Bunch of cowards. Here's another one. Straight up coward.
Is now so much bigger than Texas. And that's what makes this year's redistricting fight so much bigger than in years past, because I hope that Texas Democrats taking this heroic step inspires more heroism, and that courage will inspire more courage, because now we have people like Governor Gavin Newsom saying he's going to fight fire with fire and try to stop Texas doing this radical redistricting by threatening to redistrict out Trump Republicans in California. We're inspiring people in Washington State and in Maryland. So for folks watching at home that believe that voters should get to pick their politicians instead of Donald Trump picking your member of Congress, call your governor, call your state legislator, and tell them to fight back against what's happening in Texas. That's what's different this time than the past redistricting fights, is that Donald Trump is trying to rig elections across the country, and those that care about democracy are fighting back, not just in Texas, but people are getting inspired across the country.
So what he's essentially saying is that if they do the redistricting here in the state of Texas, that you don't get to vote anymore. And then that President Trump just gets to select the people that he wants to represent the people in the state of Texas, because you don't no longer get to vote. That's what he just said. He just said, because you, the voter, don't get to vote for them anymore. You don't get to select the people that you want to represent you. This is blatant lies. Blatantly lying. I mean, come on.
So, well, I want to make sure that we tell people exactly what Abbott said he would do. And this is it right here. He put this out on X. And I'm skipping down because I know you don't want me to read the whole thing. But he said this. Abbott said, the truancy ends now. The derelict Democrat House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House reconvenes at 3 p.m. on Monday, August 4th. For any member who fails to do so, I invoke Texas Attorney General Opinion Number KP 0382 to remove the missing Democrats from membership in the Texas House. In that opinion, the Attorney General considered whether Texas law allows for the determination that a legislator has vacated office if they intentionally break quorum. The vacancy occurred will be a fact question for a court. He further concluded that through a quo warranto action, a district court may determine the legislator has forfeited his or her office due to abandonment and can remove the legislator from office. Therefore, creating a vacancy.
Wow. So I see other people in the comment, and they're in there saying that this was on YouTube. One person was saying it is completely lawful. It is legal